Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Right now we are talking about Ford decreasing the F-150 Lightning production in Dearborn amid the EV pullback. And I got some EV statistics that I'm going to go over with you guys too. And this is the Detroit News. Actually, this was published on December 11th, which was yesterday. Ford Motor Company is decreasing the production of its all-electric F-150 Lightning pickup truck after the new year in Dearborn. They confirmed yesterday, Monday. We will continue to match production for customer demand. Spokesperson Jess said in a statement, declining to provide specifics about the changes at the Rogue Electric Vehicle Center, which employs 2,200 people. And this is what the Lightning looks like. Where they are standing right there is where the battery goes. Automotive News was the first to report the decrease, citing a supplier memo that states the automaker will produce 1,600 vehicles per week. They have the capacity for double that, which would be 32. The change is the latest in a series of moves by Dearborn Automaker and others in the industry to pull back on electric vehicle production. Availability of charging stations, charging speeds, grid reliability, and EV affordability remain obstacles to the mass adoption. Let's go back over that. Availability of charging stations, grid reliability, those two kind of go hand in hand, charging speeds, and EV affordability. It's an expensive truck. Power grids can't handle it. In October, it said it was cutting $12 billion in planned EV investment as the growth and adoption slows. That included almost halving the size of the West Michigan battery plant in Marshall and delaying by a year the launch of production at one of its two battery plants in Kentucky. The automaker also cut back production in Mexico of the Mustang Mach-E, which is the SUV. That is not a Mustang if you ask me. And it has decreased requirements for dealers to be EV certified in the coming years. So technically, there's not going to be a whole lot of dealer technicians that are electric vehicle certified in the dealership that you go to. They're cutting back the requirements to be electric vehicle certified. We're not changing our strategy, Chief Financial Officer John Lawler said last month, but changing our tactics and pulling back on some of the capital investments around the capacity that we're putting into place so that we can better match capacity with demand. So they're basically going to build the truck on demand when people order them. The Lightning sales are up. In November, they rose 113% to a record monthly and year-to-date high, but sales aren't growing as quickly, despite a several $1,000s price drop. In January of this year, or 22, Ford announced plans to double the Lightning production to 150,000 vehicles a year. It was down for 6 weeks this summer to expand the capacity. The demand is there. The chief officer for Ford Model E said when the expansion was complete, we now have the supply to match it. So they're cutting back on the truck and the Mach-E. They're not going to make dealer technicians be certified. They're cutting back on the certification requirements. I like the Lightning. I like the truck. I'm just not an EV person, okay? The truck looks badass, but I wouldn't own one. I don't like EVs. If you like EVs, cool, more power to you. But I want to go over some more statistics with you guys on electric vehicles. I'm going to show you some numbers here. All right, check it out. Let's take a look at some of these EV numbers. Current trend is changing our industry. Electric vehicles. All right, 99% of vehicles on the road use an internal combustion engine. Yeah, we all know that. 90% of Americans prefer an internal combustion engine. All right. 20% of EV owners are returning to internal combustion engines. So let's kind of go down here and read this. It's just about oils. Yes, EVs still do take some kind of fluids for the transmission and stuff like that. The dominant influence on EV demand is currently government regulation with the EPA requirements to reduce emissions, driving much of the growth. The U.S. government also provides credits up to $7,500 for purchasing electric vehicles. In fact, 46 states provide additional financial incentives, including tax credits, discounts, or the chargers, and reduced rates on electricity. 20% of EV owners are returning to internal combustion engine. They're also investigating on the supply side of providing incentives to automakers, and there have been proposals to ban internal combustion engines as well. As for the consumer demand, 67% of Americans believe EVs are better for the environment. However, 90% of Americans would still prefer an internal combustion engine in their next vehicle, while 20% of EV owners are currently returning to internal combustion engines due to range anxiety, charging time, and rapid depreciation. Electric vehicles are clearly being pushed into the market more than consumers are asking for them. It's not just about making the cars. Infrastructure must also progress to support the increased electricity demands. Electrifying the entire U.S. fleet will require at least 40% increase in power generation, and we currently have an aging infrastructure with dirty power. There's a lot of work being done. So these are the types of electrified vehicles. You have your internal combustion engine. You have start-stop technology, which would be technically a hybrid vehicle. You got MHEVs, FHEV, PHEV, and then electric vehicles is REEV, BEV, and a FCEV. Okay, so internal combustion engine, ICE, start-stop technology. Multi-hybrid electric vehicle. Electric motor can propel vehicle alone, mainly used for engine start, regenerative braking, and acceleration assist. FHEV, full hybrid electric vehicle. Electric motor alone can propel the vehicle. Plug-in hybrid. Full hybrid electric vehicle where the battery can be charged externally. Range extender electric vehicle. Battery electric vehicle that includes an internal combustion engine driven generator to charge the battery. Battery electric vehicle propelled only by a battery powered electronic motor. Full cell electric vehicle uses an electric motor but stores energy in a hydrogen tank instead of a battery. So there's your different kinds. But this 20% right here, that's crazy. Yeah, where'd it go? 67% of Americans believe EVs are better, 90% of Americans would still prefer internal combustion, and 20% of owners are currently returning to internal combustion engines. So, there's that. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.